For my final project, I'll be doing the audio project, where I'll play various soundscapes from Hong Kong and discuss their relevance to my topic of interest. My topic of interest was the people of Hong Kong's feelings towards being taken over by China. While this was not really discussed much at all in Hong Kong, I will be diving into why it's not discussed and analyzing that through some audio and soundscapes. The first soundscape will be an automated announcement coming from one of Hong Kong's MTR stations, which is their subway system. Here it is. The train to Kennedy Town is arriving. Please let passengers exit. The topic that I will focus on for this soundscape is post-colonialism. As I mentioned before, Hong Kongers don't really speak about being taken over by the Chinese Communist Party. They once spoke out in 2017 by protesting, but that was put to an end by the CCP. I think this speaks to the desire for order in Hong Kong. Hong Kongers, they follow the rules and they seek order. They stand on the right side of the escalator, they line up in single file lines for trains and photo spots, and taken literally, this could be a result of the lack of space for 9 million people, as they must line up and stay in order to maximize efficiency. But looking a little past this, I think this rule-following culture can also be attributed to the fact that Hong Kong has always been a colony of some sort, as has been controlled by larger organizations for much of its history. From 1841 until 1997, it was ruled by the British. It was a British colony. There is an exception between 1941 and 1945, where it was actually ruled by Japan during World War II. Since then, it's been a special autonomous region, or SAR. It is being controlled and more and more put under control by the Chinese Communist Party. I think the fact that Hong Kong is constantly under control by some larger organization makes the culture, has created the culture of rule following in Hong Kong. So I think that this soundscape really speaks to that, as it is ordering people to make sure that they are letting people off the train before they are trying to get on the train, and people really follow this by standing in single file lines and looking at the markings on the floor to make sure that they're always following the rules and staying in order in these subway stations. In contrast with maybe America or U of I campus, for example, I mean, we've all been in situations where we try to get on a bus or we try to get off a bus, and someone tries to get on the same time, and we kind of run into each other, and there's a little bit of congestion. Now, it's not really a big deal in Champaign-Urbana because there's not a lot of people, but in Hong Kong, this is a huge deal because in a single station, there could be thousands and thousands of people, and this train has to not be delayed. So I think that this could be a great example of this order in Hong Kong. The next soundscape you'll hear is the sound of a ding-ding. A ding-ding is a tram system, or is a tram that is nicknamed a ding-ding because it makes ding-ding sounds. And here it is. This soundscape is also linked to post-colonialism. This is because the ding-ding, this tram system, was established by a company in London 120 years ago. And it initially started as a source of public transportation and a way to get up to Victoria Peak, which is a very scenic, mountainous peak where you can see great views over the city. But now it's a tourist activity. It goes east and west through Hong Kong Island, and it goes through the heart of the the heart of Hong Kong as well. And it offers a chance for you to experience Hong Kong's British colonial past, because the tram system has been in service for over 120 years throughout its British colonial history, and it was also a British company to begin with. The next soundscape that you'll be hearing is the sounds of a dim sum restaurant. A dim sum is a very popular type of restaurant and cuisine in Hong Kong, where you order lots of small dishes, and you will typically eat this for either like a breakfast or lunch, and it's very popular in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong is known for this. In this soundscape, you can hear china clanging and conversation of customers, but the main thing I wanted to focus on was the workers speaking Cantonese in the beginning. I think this soundscape is related to Western preconceptions. Westerners like me first interpreted these workers as kind of being rude or mean, as Cantonese can sound loud and aggressive to someone who may not speak the language. I know in the soundscape it's not the best example of this. It doesn't sound as loud and aggressive, but if you were to go to a restaurant in Hong Kong, you might know what I'm talking about. And I think this speaks to Western preconceptions of that restaurant workers should be overly polite to you, like they are maybe in Europe or America. Cantonese workers in Hong Kong have a no-nonsense attitude, and they simply expect you to walk in, find what you want, order it, and they'll come and quickly deliver your food to you. And it's purely transactional. There's no BS when it comes to restaurants. And I think this can reflect on their cultural background. I think it's just a cultural difference. But also, if you go beyond that, I think it speaks to the broader economic pressures of Hong Kong. There's very high costs of rent and competition in Hong Kong. So workers and restaurant owners must get people in and out very quickly. So I think that if you go to a restaurant in Hong Kong, you might feel that the Cantonese workers might be rude or aggressive to you, but I think that that is a Western preconception, and you might be stereotyping these workers, and I think that they're it's a cultural difference that that people will just have to get used to when they're first visiting. The next soundscape you'll hear is the escalator and crosswalk sounds. When you're going up or down an escalator, let's say in a MTR station, which is their subway system, or you're crossing a crosswalk in a densely packed area, there will be sounds coming from these elevators or coming from these escalators and crosswalk signals, and here they are. The first is the escalator sound, and here it is. The next soundscape is the crosswalk sound, and it will start very fast. The rhythm will be very fast, signifying that you should cross. Then it will slow down into a slower rhythm, signifying that you should finish crossing. And finally, it will be the slowest word, signifying you should not be crossing right now. I think that these sounds represent the efficiency and rhythm of life in Hong Kong. The monotone sounds are almost a rhythm for people that kind of subconsciously push them to walk faster and have a hustle mindset, with myself included. I think it speaks to the competitive nature of Hong Kong's culture, in that there are so many people jammed into a small area, with lines and crowds, that people are always walking with a meaning, always going somewhere important. So they're, rushing up the escalator, walking on the left side so that they can walk up the escalator rather than wait in a line, or they're uh, quickly walking across the crosswalk. Um, yeah, I think this concludes my audio project. I think I really wanted to focus on post-colonialism and Western preconceptions as it relates to my topic of interest, which was Hong Kong, and their feelings towards being transferred, their, I guess, management being transferred from the British to the Chinese Communist Party. And while it's not really talked about in Hong Kong, I think that it can be inferred in many aspects of life there. And I try to exemplify these through the automated MTR announcements showing that there's a lot of order in Hong Kong, and Hong Kongers are big rule followers. The ding ding being a piece of history. The sounds of a dim sum restaurant, and Cantonese workers, and then the sounds of escalator and crosswalks in Hong Kong.